What's up, everybody? Welcome into the final Mock Draft Monday episode of Mock Draft Duel. It's incredibly insane to think about that, like, we're recording this on Saturday, so we're 5 days from the draft. By the time you're watching this on Monday night, we're 3 days from the draft, and that is just absolutely insane to me. So welcome in. I hope you enjoyed Quincy Carrier live before us. Please hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up there on YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. I'm Sam, as always. We're here to do some Mock Draft Duel tonight. We got a couple topics we're going to talk on just before that, but one as long as our schedules allow, we do plan to do one more Mock Draft Duel episode next week with us just kind of recapping the picks and kind of giving some of our thoughts and things like that. And then we're going to transition over to doing our film review show, which will be me and Sam cutting up film of the actual draft picks that the Browns make. So we'll go through that. So we'll start there, man. Sam, how you doing?
I'm busy. That time of year, finals are coming up, drafts coming up, so everything's kind of hitting at once. But it's that time of year; you just got to grind through it. We'll survive.
I used to previous job. I coordinated event parking at Ohio University, so like the football and basketball games. But the biggest thing was that commencement was on day 2 and 3 of the draft. It was on the Friday and Saturday. And so like I had to be at work at like 5:30 in the morning. So I'm up Thursday night until like 1 o'clock. And I'm pumping out articles and doing all those things. And then OU decided to shift everything back a week, the start and end of spring semester, which was just a godsend because I did that for 2 years. I did that. And I was like, this is awful. And it works out a little bit better. WrestleMania's this weekend, the weekend before the draft. As I'm recording this, WrestleMania hasn't happened yet, but you guys would know that's happened. So I'm a big WWE head, and I know nobody wants me to talk about that, but it was just Sam, there was a topic I talked to you about a little bit about some pre-show, but there's a topic that I wanted to kind of discuss just because it was kind of being floated out there, and I saw some other prominent draft figures kind of talk about this. And that is Andrew Berry playing fans when it comes to Travis Hunter? Like, so I've never seen him gush about a prospect or a player the way he has now multiple times for Travis Hunter. I mean, we got the combine, he did it, and then he did it with his pre-draft press conference. And we know to take all that stuff with Andrew Berry with a grain of salt. We're all very aware of that. That is how this works. That's how he works. But I've seen some people going out there, some prominent draft figures, and say that he's potentially just trying to cook something up, maybe to get the Giants to come up for Travis Hunter or something like that. And or that he's just going to stay and take Abdul Carter. So where do you fall? Is Andrew Berry playing fans with the pick too? Or do you, I do think there is a little bit of like, maybe they're not 100% decided, but do you think it's this? Everybody says Andrew Berry loves to have fun in these smoke screens and likes to mess with people. Do you think he's messing with people on the Travis Hunter, or do you think they're leaning that direction?
I think it's possible. The thing that I kind of think about in this situation is how differently this regime operates versus the previous one. When John Dorsey was in charge, there was another leak every day, and different things would be leaked to different people. You'd find out things a week early. Like all these different things happened, and I mean, I don't think that was really good for the internal morale of the organization. And then Andrew Berry takes over, and then something gets leaked that the Browns are considering Condoleezza Rice as head coach. Like that says, "Oh, I think we found the mole." So since then, I think things have been pretty tight-lipped. I think that's just how this regime goes about doing things. So based on their history, I think it's safe to assume whether something's being leaked or whether there's, especially when there's a public statement made by Berry, there's probably a reason for it. Like it's not just an offhand comment.
Right.
So now then you're left with the possibilities of, okay, is he playing with people to generate fan interest because it's kind of like a either or situation with a pick. It's not like, oh, we're picking 16th. Well, what if this person falls to us? Or what if this team wants to trade up? And like, you're not really faced with that. It's kind of, Hunter or Carter, you don't really have another option. So is it fan interest? Is it just fun? Is it trying to smokescreen other teams and make them think that the Browns might be wanting to take Hunter. We really want Hunter, so let's try to convince them to trade down with us. Or are they actually tipping their hand and just saying like, yeah, we know Hunter's going to be there. We know we're going to take him. Why hide it? It could be any of those things. We're not going to know until Thursday night, but I mean, I guess it's possible that they're pretty much decided on who they're going to take if they stay at 2, but they're not sold on either player over like a huge potential trade down haul where, if a team offered them like 2 firsts or something, to move down to the top, still in the top 10, or the Giants wanted to offer them like a third or a second and they still got the other one of those 2. You never know. That's a possibility. So it's just something to talk about, I think, in a class where it's kind of just like, yeah, this is probably what's going to happen. Like we pretty much are 100% certain it's going to be one of those 2 guys. We got to do something to generate fan interest and get people talking about the team beyond the 33rd pick.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing to note when we talk about, well, we've never heard him gut about a prospect like this. And an interesting thing to point out is, well, the highest ever picked was 10. And it goes to you. When you're at like 16 or you're like, well, if a guy like Travis Hunter falls, which obviously would not happen with his talent, he would never fall to like 16. But if a guy like this falls, like we would be very interested in this. And you have to play very close to the vest. I'm 99.9% sure that Cam Ward's going 1, so we know what's going to be on the table. Like, we are very confident we've got all of those things. So I like that you put it that way because that does make the most sense. So, all right, let's do this. Let's do our final mock draft Monday. Make sure you're plugged into the OBR all week, guys. We got so much going on, so much draft content. Night 1 and 2 of the draft, I will be around some, but I will be on the stream pretty much all day on day 3. I've had some work complications with that, but I know Sam's going to be popping in and out to the streams, but this channel will be live for the entirety of the draft in the draft cave. So make sure you guys stay plugged in all week long. All right, let's get this thing started. I'm going to kick tonight off. I slowed this thing down because I am of a proponent that I believe the Browns are going to try to go up for a quarterback. It's just where I'm at, based on some things that I've heard and just based on the situation where you're like, a lot of these teams at the back end, like the Rams or the Steelers or, some teams there and that, and also like the Saints and the Browns and the Giants at the top of the second round are interested in this second wave of quarterbacks. And by second wave of quarterbacks, I mean people not named Shedeur Sanders. So I've got this thing turned on slow mode to see if I can jump up. So we'll see about that. I'm not going to make it complicated at all. I think that Travis Hunter is the best player in this draft. He's the number 1 player on my board. I don't think I've ever seen a player like this before. I currently don't have a plan for exactly how I deploy him offensive and defensively, but that's not my problem to figure out. And I think it's a good problem to figure out. He's a freak. He's a unicorn. Most dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands on both sides of the ball for him in this entire draft. You just want to find a way to get touches for this guy because he can make a house call at any point in time. So I'm going to take Travis Hunter. I'm going to then pause the draft and send it over to you, and we'll see what shenanigans I get into on the next round.
Right. All right, we restarted. The Titans are not going to take Sanders at 1.
Is that what happened? I was looking over here to see.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't affect much, but we're not going to do that. I would not be upset with Travis Hunter. I think he's just a elite talent. just a rare football player, mentally and physically, and I think he's the kind of talent that you can take it to, and I think you do need to end up with a solid plan that he's also willing to be part of. Make sure that you're not forcing him to quit football based on that comment he made. But for me, I still think Abdul Carter is the best player in the class. I think he is borderline generational as a pass rusher. I don't think guys with his level of talent come around very often. And I think that he's just too talented of a prospect with too high of a ceiling at too valuable of a position to not take him here when you have the chance. With any luck, if everything goes according to plan, the Browns are not going to be picking this anywhere close to this high for a long time unless they're trading up for a quarterback. So you're not going to have the chance to get a blue chip top talent like this. And for me, having that cornerstone at edge, I think, is very important to your defense. And, he's more than just an edge. Like, you can do a lot of different things with him, move him around. I think he's extremely versatile. He's just a fantastic athlete. Like, there's a clip that'll be in my my film room piece on him coming out soon, where he drops into coverage and he looks like a safety.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I don't know that he has Micah Parsons 4.3 speed, but he's close athletically to Micah Parsons, and I would be more than happy with that level of impact at 2. So I'm going to stick with him. I've been a Carter fan, Carter proponent the whole process, and I'm not stepping away from that, even if I'm a big fan of Hunter as well.
One thing that I did want to say, I was not that bothered by Hunter's comments. I think when you watch the actual thing in the context in which he was speaking and everything, you see a guy who was just kind of just answering a question, and I don't think it was like a threat. Like, people, I think, overreacted to that, but I'm not going to get into that too much, but that's just, I just wanted to say that. I just didn't think it was. All right, so I have stopped the train here at pick 24. Shedeur did go 21 to Steelers. That's all right. I still want to move up for a quarterback. Off of 37 and next year's 4th to Minnesota to get up there. Offering the trade. They've accepted it. I'm on the clock. And for me, it's Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe in this spot, he has the highest ceiling of any of these quarterbacks in this class. I think he's got a huge arm. He may be faster than Lamar Jackson, is what we've been told. And he's very interesting. We've watched him work hard to between the end of the season, the Senior Bowl, and the Combine. You've seen him go through some changes and how he's working hard on his mechanics and stuff. He's still going to need time to clean those things up. But Joe Flacco's here, Kenny Pickett's here. He can sit down, figure those things out. They can find a way to maximize his talent. You see the 16 touchdowns. Don't forget he had 20 rushing touchdowns to that, so 36 touchdowns this year. I just think just everything is there for a superstar if you give him time and if you can develop him. Every NFL team is going to think they can. That's my thing. People are like, do you really think the Browns can do it? I'm like, I know the Browns think they can do it because that's how this works. Right. You are going to think you can do it.
They are a professional football team.
And that's your job. So I think they get a little aggressive. They go up. They get Jalen Milroe, and they lose a pick in the process this year, and they get the quarterback.
I would be good with that. I think Milroe's prospect-wise, Milroe is my QB2. So if you can get him at the end of the first round, middle end of the first round, trading up for him, I think that's a risk I'm willing to take just because of that potential payoff. And you don't have any other future-oriented quarterback on your roster. So whether Milroe ends up being your guy in 2026 or not, I think that's still a chance you can take. And if you end up in a position where you're going to go up and take one of the top guys next year who you think is a significantly better prospect than Milroe, fine. All that matters is you got your quarterback. Like, you're not going to look back as a fan and be like, oh, now we have, quarterback X, and he's really good. But he took him a year after we traded up for Milroe. Can't believe we did that. We should have just stayed at 33, kept 67, kept our fourth, and got these three players instead. No one's going to say that because you're going to have a franchise quarterback.
You can just trade the other quarterback if you need to.
Yep. So it's not going to be a cheap move up, but I think it's worth it because of the position and because of the situation they're in. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. Again, I would do this for Milroe first, but I'm going to do Jackson Dart here just to be different. Dart is QB3 for me. I think he has all the physical talent that you would need to be a successful quality NFL starter. I think his potential ceiling, if he were to reach it, I think is pretty high because I think he's got a good arm. It's not elite, but I have no concerns about it. Like, I went from watching Cam Ward directly into watching Shedeur Sanders, directly into watching Jackson Dart. I have serious concerns about Sanders' arm strength. Ward has a cannon, and Dart I have zero concerns about. I think the ball has considerably more zip from Dart than it does Sanders. I think he can make all the throws that you need. He's shown the ability to make good throws off platform on the run, to improvise, to escape, make plays behind the line of scrimmage. He's a work in progress. The offense, you can't fault a guy for the offense that he was asked to execute, but that does factor into your evaluation because for some guys, you're going to see them doing less mentally than others, or that you're going to see them doing less things that translate to your specific team and situation than others. So that's going to be a big learning curve for him, I think. But I think he has all of the physical talent that you would want, and you can look at him as a college player and say, okay, I see it, and I can see that, and it's far from a sure thing. I think Milroe has a higher ceiling. I think he probably did more from a mental perspective, taking the 2 seasons into account as a starter. So I would prefer Milroe, but if they were to do this for Dart because Milroe is already gone, I wouldn't be upset with it because I can see an outcome, a scenario where Dart is a successful quarterback where you feel like we don't need to upgrade from this guy because he's good enough. Does it mean he's ever going to be elite? I don't know. I think he has potential elite talent. It's just a matter of, is he going to get to that place developmentally where he's reached that ceiling? And for me, he's a player that I'm willing to take that chance on.
I see it too. Like, I'm a little bit lower on him than like consensus is, but I see the path. Like, it's the physical traits are all there. Like that, like the physical traits, they're completely there. All right, I went back to check, by the way, to see what Minnesota did with the trade down. They took 33. They took Amari and Hampton, and then when they came on the clock at 67 with our second round pick, they took Dylan Sampson. So this simulator is made the
2 running backs for a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Hampton and Dylan Sampson that's an
pretty sick. Duo. That's a pretty sick duo.
Here at 94, I love DJ Giddens in this spot if he's there. I know a lot of people want to wait a little bit for a running back and they want to potentially go more high profile thing, but like Giddens, he's only got like good long speed. Like, he's not that like, oh, there he goes, 4.4. He's not Travion in the open field, but I vision, his patience match what the Browns want to do. I just think he's a big, long. I think he could do some things as a pass pro, and I just think he's that patient runner that finds the avenues. And that's kind of how the zone blocking schemes worked. I mean, think of Nick Chubb in his best moments with the Browns. You're looking at him finding these cutback lanes and him finding lanes that nobody else could see. You know, you're like these guys that are smart and patient, and he's got enough speed and acceleration to make it work. He's just not Devon Achane or RJ Harvey. He's not a 4.3, 4.4 guy. He's not slow, but you know, it's more of a vision and a kind of a burst kind of thing. But I like DJ Giddens a lot from Kansas State, the running back. I'm going to make that selection there.
Like it. I have a couple interesting options. Elijah Arroyo tempts me because I think adding another tight end would be really advantageous for this offense, especially with Joe Flacco likely being the starter. Alec Iamanair is also intriguing. Darian Porter here would be intriguing. I think I'm going to go with Trey Harris, though. I think, again, this is another big projection pick, but I think he has wide receiver 1 ability. Is he going to get there? Can he get there? I think he can. It takes a lot of, okay, you're in this offense and they asked you to do like these really weird things that didn't necessarily fit your physical skill set. Based on that, I think you can play this role in my offense in the NFL. Yeah. And I think he can be a really good X receiver at the next level. He's big. He's well built. He's dense. He's not thin. I think he's got enough long speed. I think he's more fluid and agile for his size than a lot of other players who are bigger receivers. And I just think he has kind of that like aggressive physical play style to where I can see him having a lot of success at the next level. And combining, I think he also brings you a different element of receiver than you have on the roster right now. And I think he would form a good pairing with Jerry Jeudy. And then Cedric Tillman, who is also more of an X, but even though Tillman's calling card coming out of college was more like that physical contested catch guy, I don't know that he really plays that role as well as I think Harris would. And I think Harris ultimately has a higher ceiling. So I'm going to add to the offense, and I'm going to take Trey Harris here.
I think like having 2 guys that can do that is not a bad thing either. like
definitely not. I mean, talk about helping a young quarterback is giving you 2 guys who can go up and get it, bail you out of contested situations that you can trust.
Yeah. I don't think this ever happens, but if the Browns are sitting at 104 and Andrew Makuba, the safety from Texas, is sitting there, like starts his career at Clemson, primarily in the slot as a slot corner, comes here to Texas this year, transitions to more as a deep safety, played like 100 snaps in the box, so he can go down in there. People are concerned about some of the run defense things and some tackling issues, but this dude is incredibly instinctual, very good athlete, covers a ton of ground. He's exactly what you need behind Grant Delpit. So if you're sitting, and you could even make that argument from at 97, but I wanted to go running back, wanted to beef that up a little bit, but Makuba here is just too much. This just really brings together and gives you that deep center fielder that they have desperately been throwing picks and money at trying to find. They're like, oh, we're signing Ronnie Hickman and, Juan Thornhill and John Johnson. We're doing all these things trying to get a deep center field safety, Andrew Makuba. And like his experience as a slot corner shows too. Like, I'm not that concerned about a run defense when you move him back to safety. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. I don't need, like, my safety's making a bunch of the run defense plays anyway. We've got some issues because they're tearing off runs to get there. But it's just smart, instinctual, really good athlete. Experience if you need to kick him down to the slot because of injury. I think he's fine down there, but he's at his best as a deep safety.
Yeah, I mean, that's a major steal. I think he's going to be a really good safety for a long time. I think he fits in any NFL defense. I don't think it matters what scheme you play. I don't think it matters where your need is. He can play a role in your defense and be very effective for you.
All right.
So I traded up here. I moved up 4 spots from 104. I gave 255 to the 49ers to move up to 100 because I wanted to secure my tackle. I'm taking Anthony Belton from NC State. I've liked him throughout the whole process, and he's done absolutely nothing to prove otherwise. He's a good athlete. He's a bigger guy, but size adjusted, I think he tested pretty well. And I think that, I don't know, he's just, I don't know why he isn't getting talked about more, because I think in a class with a lot of guys who you're not sure are a tackle, he's got really good tackle tape and he has legitimate tackle measurements.
Yeah, he's a tackle.
I would value him at more than a early 4th or late 3rd, but it doesn't seem like the consensus board agrees with that. So I'm going to move up a little bit, make sure I get him. He's going to be your developmental tackle. Doesn't have to start right away because of Cornelius Lucas. I think he could eventually start as a rookie. Bring him along slowly. I think he just has a lot of physical talent. Very strong. He's got a really solid build, 330 plus pounds. He moves really well. He's got quick feet for that size. And he's just very smart. Like, he understands protections. He understands what the defense is trying to do to confuse the offensive line. I think he reacts really quickly to those things. And that's really important to me as picking for the Browns, because I've seen over the past few seasons, especially last year, the offensive line just could not deal with that stuff. So bringing in a guy who already knows how to do that, who I've seen know how to do that, that's a bonus.
Yeah, that was a problem. I'm going to go developmental tackle at 179. I'm going to take Jalen Travis, the Iowa State tackle. Played first year. He played some right tackle. Last 2 years he's been at left tackle. So we've seen him play on both sides. So he gives you that kind of flexibility. I've heard some people suggest maybe he kicks inside. I think he's got the length and quickness to be a tackle. I think he had a 2.5% pass pressure rate last year as a pass protector. Really needs to improve his power profile as a run blocker. Like, I don't like his run blocking really at all. I think he's already a really good pass protector. Like, he's in that spot. He's got good length, good explosiveness off the line to get out and into his sets, and a pretty good athlete. Just got to add some more power, kind of refine some of his footwork. But physically, you're like, I look at this guy just from a physical trade standpoint, and I go, yeah, that guy can play tackle in the NFL. So take him, sit him down, make him your 4th or 5th tackle, whatever it is you want to do, and let him develop and add a little bit more power and strength. And I think Jalen Travis can be a left tackle in the NFL.
Like it. All 4 developmental tackles. So I want to trade up here because I want to make sure that I get a running back that is in that second tier, right? So the first tier is that your Ashton Jeanty. I mean, okay, to be fair, Ashton Jeanty is in the 0 tier, right? First tier is probably Omarion Hampton. Second tier, there's a whole like bucket of guys, right, who you can see being starters. And I think Damian Martinez is one of those guys. He's a bigger back, doesn't necessarily have the elite speed, but I think he's got a really good running style. And I just think he's densely built. He's got a lot of power. Like, he will run through your face. He wants to run through your face.
Yeah.
And I think in this offense, especially, I mean, my plan is going to be to get another back later on. We'll see if I can swing that. But the fit with him as kind of your bell cow, and then Jerome Ford as your speed guy, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. really.
We got an issue with your audio. You're all jumbled up. Not sure.
All right. How's that?
There you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think Damian Martinez is going to probably outplay his draft position,
He will.
and if I can take him after getting those top 4 guys, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel pretty good. You walk away in that situation. You're like, hey, I got all this and Damian Martinez. Ty Robinson's interesting, the defensive tackle from Nebraska. I think he's a really nice athlete for the position. He's a bit undersized lengthwise. Like, he's not quite as long as you want him to be. He finally had a pretty good year as a pass rusher. I think he is kind of one of those guys that does a really good job no, I'm sorry. I'm confusing him with Thor Griffith. Goodness. I was about to say he's really good. I do that sometimes, but no, so he's got a great motor. I think he's pretty good in both facets of the game. He's shown the upside. This year he was more productive as a pass rusher, had a pass rusher run rate over 10%. Really nice first step off the line of scrimmage. But I think he can do a little bit of both. I think he graded out fine at run defender, a little bit of both, but you can see the pass rush win rate and the run stop rate both being pretty good for him. The 6 sacks, but you can see there wasn't a ton of production there before that. But 4 batted down passes in both of the last 2 years. I just think that he's a really interesting, really good athlete. I'm in the 6th round. I'm taking bets on athletes at positions and seeing what happens.
Right. Yep. And the Browns met with him, I'm pretty sure, right?
I believe so. At least at the combine. I don't know if they had him for a visit, but I know they linked to him somewhere.
I think they've shown interest, so yeah. So here at a 192, I am looking at nose tackle, 1 tech, or I'm looking at another running back, or I'm looking at tight end. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with tight end. I'm going to take the chance on Luke Lachey. I know he's an older guy, injuries, doesn't have the great production, but talent-wise, definitely best tight end on the board there. And I think if he can stay healthy and just not be pressured upon to excel right away, he can be brought along slowly. I think he can be a very productive tight end for you, especially as a tight end too. I think he has more talent than that, and I'm willing to take that risk here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Jalen Conyers is one of my guys. He was on my guys list that released for the OBR last week. Jalen 260, and what was this? I can't remember. Oh man, I can't remember. His 40 was stupid for 260 pounds. I don't have it in front of me, but his acceleration and his burst, he's a great run blocker. He's just never consistently put it all together. Like, he's got the physical athleticism, the a good top speed, the size, the length. He's got everything he needs to be a hyper productive tight end. He just hasn't put it together a ton, and he's only like, I think he had 400 to this year was a career year for him receiving wise. So he's at 300 yards the last 2 years and 400. So not a ton of production, hasn't seen a ton going on there. But if you can put everything together, you're starting to see a trend here for me in the 6th round. Is like, put these physical traits together, develop them, and these guys could figure out to be guys. And Conyers has got, at a position of need, he's got some tools that I would like to see what happens with them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic value. So ignore 255. I don't know why that's still there. I traded that up.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw you traded up.
Yeah, I did. I pressed the button. It's, unless I'm totally wrong, and the recording makes me look like a liar. So if I didn't already take Trey Harris here, then I would be very interested in Keandre Lambert-Smith. I think if there's one guy in this class that 2-3 years from now, people are gonna be like, how is this guy 6th, 7th round pick? It's him. I think he that 4-3. What do you run? 4-3 something at the
I
combine.
think it
That's
was,
like icing on the cake.
yeah, I think it was. I'm thinking of Dante Thornton. Dante Thornton ran it in like flat.
Yeah.
Keandre Lambert Smith's 4.37.
Yeah, that's, I mean, excellent. So I don't even think he's like a pure speed guy either. You know, that's just extra from what he
He
provides.
just
And I
never got
think he can
developed
be
at
a,
all.
right, right. And I think, I think if he does, he could be really good for you. But I don't really have. I mean, there's probably room for another receiver on the roster, but I would rather, I think, take another running back here to go along with Martinez. I want to take more of a speed guy, and there are two of them right here. I'm going to take Jaden Blue just because I think the ceiling is higher there, even though the production has not been there. I think he can, ideally, he can help you as a receiving back. I think that'll probably be his immediate role, and if he can learn how to just be patient and take advantage of that speed, I think you're going to end up with a um, really good running back stable. And I think his skill set complements Martinez really well. I think that'll end up being my last pick of the last official pick of the draft because the other one doesn't exist.
I'm gonna go corner. I'm gonna go Jason Marshall, the corner from Florida, recovering from a torn labrum. That's gonna hurt him. I think it was in October or November that happened. So, but good size, like 6'1", 201, good size, good length. More of a man corner. Uh, he has some mental lapses, mental mistakes in coverage every once in a while that you're just like, I've seen you make that play a million times. Like, what are you doing? And so, like, he could be a little bit frustrated. He's not. Just kind of has those moments where you're like, well, I think you as a veteran should know this a little bit better because we've seen you make these plays before. So just kind of some of those things make him fall to this into the sixth round. But I've seen him also be productive in coverage. So it's,
Yeah, talent wise, that's
yeah, good.
he's a lot more talented than that. So if you can squeeze that out of him, you're going to be very happy. I think we lost Jacob, unfortunately. Having internet issues all day. So we'll see if we can get him back in here. But in the meantime,
There we go. Am I back?
Oh, there you go. I heard you.
It's been weird. I don't know what's going on. What haven't I done? I wonder about. Yeah, I like Drew Kendall, the safety or a center from Boston College, as kind of a developmental.
You don't want to play in safety.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say let's pull it up. Yeah, 6'4".
I know the Browns need a safety. They don't need a safety that bad.
Yeah, no, they don't need to put a 300-pound guy back there. More of a pass blocker, run defender, decent athlete, decent fundamentals, just kind of a little bit more power add, and you'll be in a good spot with him. So I'll take Kendall as a developmental center. And then I will give it
safety.
to you. Yeah, /safety. And I'll give it to you to do your rundown real quick.
All right, so we started out with Abdul Carter, the pass rusher from Penn State. Then we sent the Vikings pick number 94 to move up to 24 and took Jackson Dart as a developmental quarterback. At 67, we took Dart's college teammate Trey Harris to give us a high ceiling X receiver. Then we moved up from 104 with the San Francisco 49ers to grab Anthony Belton, the tackle from NC State. We also moved up to get Damian Martinez, the bruising running back from Miami. We took Luke Lachey, the Iowa tight end, at 192. And then at 200, Jaden Blue, the Texas running back. 255 should not exist because we traded that to the Niners. So that is a 7-player class, and I think your offense is completely transformed now, and you also left with a defensive cornerstone and the best player in the draft.
All right. I took Travis Hunter at the top, traded picks 33, 67, and a future 4th to go up and get Jalen Milroe at 24. Highest ceiling in the quarterback group, in my opinion. EJ Giddens, the patient, real good vision runner from Kansas State. Andrew Makuba could finally be the deep safety that they've been looking for years. I love Jalen Travis as a developmental tackle from Iowa State. Ty Robinson, Jalen Conyers, both guys that kind of developed got the trade. Gotta hope they can get there. Jason Marshall covering for Portland Lebron has some kind of here and there in coverage, but overall has had a pretty good career for Florida. And Drew Kendall as a developmental safety at 255. You guys have been awesome.
Developmental
for us.
center.
Did I say it again?
You said it again.
Shit.
Thinking too much about safeties, man.
I love safeties. Center. He's a There's a C right there. It's not like it's not there, and I'm just guessing his position.
It's
like,
spelled Cafety.
Safety.
Safety.
We appreciate you guys checking in with us every Monday, going through all these mocks. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next Monday to wrap it up, but this is to wrap up the draft and then launch into some of our film down series. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay plugged into the OBR all week. We will see you guys again next time. As always, go Browns.